In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I operate a business that generates at least $500 profit every day selling supplements online. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. My name is Kris McCauley, and before we get into things, I want to say a couple of things first. My 40-page ebook, Online Arbitrage Start to Scale, is now free on my website. All you have to do is enter code OA30 at checkout, and you will receive that discount. Secondly, I always give a 1-hour call to someone who likes, subscribes, and comments on my videos. And this video, I'm actually giving away 2 of those calls right here. Reach out to me, guys, via social media, and we can definitely set something up. And the last thing I want to say is this video is not intended to brag, boast, or anything like that of the sort. I know people that are doing much larger numbers than these. On this channel, I share what I'm doing, my successes, my failures, and maybe to prove any of the doubters wrong that you can do this full time, that you can really succeed at this with the right mentality and with the correct work being put in. Okay, so I broke this video up into 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is the lead up or the build up of how this all came to be. And chapter 2 is just the work that goes in on a day-to-day basis. Now, the lead up, chapter 1, I think is really important because I could tell you guys what I'm doing, but without knowing my mindset, I don't think it's going to have as much of an impact. And hopefully showing my transition is going to help people out, because for me as an entrepreneur over the last couple of years of doing this full time, one of the hardest parts has just been transitioning from one thing to the next. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flash back to July of this year, 2018. And to give you guys a picture of where I was at. And for anyone new here, basically in summary, what I've been doing for the last year and a half is forms of arbitrage where you go buy items from retailers to send in to Amazon for a profit. You can do this. You can make a lot of money doing this. And this can be done online, or you can go into the store. And there's tons of videos on YouTube about that. And I've actually built my channel around that in the past as well. So I'm completely rebranding my channel. But there came a tipping point, okay? So the more money you make, the more you have to spend in order to make that money grow. And basically, that means you're gonna have to do more product research, find more items, right? So it came down to a decision. I could either start hiring on virtual assistants from the Philippines. I pay $4 an hour, $3 an hour to help me research these products and scale up that way. Or I could completely take a step back and work on building up wholesale leads and buying items in bulk from companies, suppliers, so I could become a retailer for them. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up choosing the latter option, which is find wholesale suppliers. But it's not that easy, because in essence, what I was doing was I was delaying something that could currently make income for something that could make me more income in the future. And there were 2 real reasons that I was able to do this, that I myself felt comfortable for doing this in my scenario. The first reason was just my current income streams I had set up. So at the time, I was making a couple $1,000s a month from YouTube, a couple $1,000s profit from my eBay store, and about $4,000 to $5,000 a month profit from my Amazon business. The YouTube and the eBay were taking about 20 hours of my time per week, and the Amazon side of things was taking around 40 to 50. So what I decided to do was I would just focus on YouTube, eBay, and then my Amazon business. I was just basically going to let run its course, and all of my inventory in Amazon let it sell out. And that's exactly what I did. And number 2, the second reason why I felt comfortable enough to basically take this leap into wholesale was at the time I had just gone to a trade show. It really didn't go as I had planned. And I was helping an old friend get caught up to speed on Amazon. He works a 9 to 5. He still does work his 9 to 5. It was after a couple weeks of doing arbitrage, and he hits me up and he's like, look, I can see why you can make good money doing this, but it's extremely tedious and it's not very fun. I have a list of 350 distributors. Let's say we become partners and we go into this full force. And I said, sure. So between those 2 things, I felt comfortable going in at this full force. I went into this with the mentality of this has to work. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If this guy can do it, I can do it. There's no questions. Failure is not an option kind of mentality. And so we started, I think we went through that list of distributors in about 2 weeks. We were calling 25 to 50 calls per day per person. So, and then, all the follow-up calls that went, it was kind of like a sales job. And so we kept reaching out to different people, different distributors, everything. And slowly in this time frame is where I learned so much about things outside of Amazon, right? I learned about supply chain outside of Amazon. I learned about, the ways different business operated. It was one of the best things that I ever did. And it's actually really made me enjoy cold calling. We were steadily making progress here and there. We found, maybe a small supplier here, just enough progress to keep us hungry, to feel like we were accomplishing something. And then it was in October, we found the supplier we're working with today. And this supplier, we now have another supplier very, very similar, and we're scaling at a very rapid rate. I believe at the time of this video, we have just crossed the 100K mark for the last 30 days in our business. Once again, that's not profit, but just gross sales and business. There were really two key things that allowed us to land this supplier, okay? Number one was just narrowing down in a very specific niche. So at the time, doing all these calls, we were in 3 different markets. One was beauty, one was health, one was toys. And we just ended up narrowing down. So based on, my business partners and I experience with supplements, we both love working out. We both know a lot about supplements, combined with the knowledge we have on Amazon. So Amazon's the playground, and it's about how can we incorporate that knowledge inside of Amazon. It really allowed us to succeed because there's so many great markets out there. There's so many great markets that it can get overwhelming. So I just would recommend people maybe focusing on something they're passionate about or that they know a lot about. And then that's number one. And number two is negotiation. That's how we were able to land this. So negotiating is a video entirely on its own, but what it really comes down to is how can 2 parties benefit off of one transaction? And this may not be as cut and dry as that, right? Because as entrepreneurs, our job is to get creative and figure out solutions to problems. And that's what we did here. So we were analyzing things on our end. We're like, look, we really want to carry this brand. So we had to look at things on our end. How can we carry this brand in our store? What can we do on our end to cut costs and work with the margins they're giving us? And maybe what are some things that this supplier currently isn't doing that they could do to shave costs on their end? And that's exactly what we did. Okay, the day to day. Now that you guys know the lead up and how this all kind of transpired, very quick version, I'm going to talk about how this business operates at a very high level, how we're continuing to scale and grow. So first off, we have a virtual assistant that works for us 6 days a week, 4 hours a day for product research. And usually this VA will find about 8 brands a day that we can work with. And out of those 8, maybe we only work with 1 or 2. Potentially 50 brands a week are coming to us that we can potentially source, and maybe there's 5 good ones. That means that's 20 a month. And we can potentially bring on 4 to 5 a month, and then we have a bunch on backlog. So that's good. Now, the other 3 components of our business, really, we're dealing with inventory management, supply chain, and cash flow. Basically, in a nutshell, we have enough cash flow to keep everything in stock, and everything gets from the supplier into Amazon as quickly as possible, and that we never run out of stock. So all of that has to happen. And what that entails is so inventory management, what that looks like is just analyzing current suppliers that we're dealing with, products that are in stock or out of stock, how many we need to order, and then potentially new items and how many we need to order from that new supplier. And right now everything's being done manually, but we're about to switch over to a software called Forecastly. It really helps manage inventory levels. So we're probably going to work on that here in the upcoming weeks to help make this a bit more streamlined. Then we actually just brought on someone to help prep. So we prep everything in-house. So when something comes, it either comes to me or Drew or somewhere like that, and we are prepping these ourselves for 2 reasons. 1, a prep center is more expensive than prepping it yourself. Number 2 is the time. We can get items out way quicker and faster than a prep facility. So a third-party prep facility may take a day, may take 2 days, but we can get everything out same day. That means that if 300 units show up at 10:30 a.m., they're out into UPS before 4 or 5 p.m. our time. That's huge for us. And like I said, we just brought someone on, and it's just about building up that system. Eventually, we want to get to the point where we've got 3, 5 people, 2,000 units come in, and they're just all prepped, ready to go. done. And then the last thing is just cash flow management. So it's kind of a balancing act, even though we've got 2 people and, we've got liquid cash, then we have credit lines, and then we have basically net 30. So cabbage.com is this net 30 for Amazon sellers or e-commerce people where they actually give you cash and you get 30 days to pay it back. And so we're only buying a week's worth of inventory. So we know our supply system down to where we will have that cash back in our bank accounts before 30 days is up. If that does not happen, you're going to get hit with fees, and you do not want that. That's why I always tell people, do not start doing this with other people's money, because if you start doing it with other people's money, you can dig a really big hole for yourself quickly if you do not know what you're doing. That is a really high level overview of how everything kind of transpired, what we're doing, how we're growing. I wouldn't be working so much if we weren't actually trying to scale as rapidly as we are, but we're not trying to maintain, we're trying to grow. I think at the time of this video, we're around the 90K per month mark in our business, gross sales. That's not profit, but we want to make that grow, and we want to grow this into a real business. So I'm going to go ahead and close out here, and hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys like this kind of content in the description below, and I will see you next time. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this kind of video, feel free to like and subscribe. Also join that Facebook group in the description below where I'm pretty active, and I have announcements I'm making there that I do not put in my videos. So definitely join, and I'll see you guys in there.